I've been sitting on this story for nearly a month, staring at the ceiling of my apartment, wondering if I'm the villain in my own life movie. But then I look at the bank alerts, the voicemails, and the sheer silence of a peaceful Saturday morning, and I realize, no, I'm not the villain. I'm just a guy who finally stopped playing the extra in someone else's biopic. I need to get this off my chest. I need to tell this to people who don't have a stake in the game, because the fallout in my real life has been nuclear. Let me set the stage. My name is Liam. I'm 32 years old. I work in industrial HVAC systems, heating, ventilation, air conditioning for massive warehouses and hospitals. It's blue-collar work with a white-collar paycheck. But you wouldn't know to look at me. I drive a truck that's 5 years old. I wear Carhartt because it lasts, and I live in a comfortable, modest 2-bedroom condo on the edge of the city. I'm content. I'm debt-free. I'm happy. Then there's my brother, Julian. Julian is 29, and if you ask my parents, he's the second coming of Elon Musk, but with better hair. He works in fintech, a job title I still don't fully understand, but involves wearing Italian loafers and talking loudly about disrupting the market at bars. He makes 6 figures, sure, but he spends 7. He's married to Bianca, a woman who treats life like a curated Instagram feed. They just acquired a McMansion in a gated community where the homeowners association writes you up if your grass is a 1/4 inch too high. Our family dynamic has always been a pyramid, and I'm the foundation stones that get buried in the dirt so the peak can shine. My dad, Robert, was a salesman who cared more about the handshake than the product. My mom, Sylvia, is a woman who measures love in accolades. And living with them is my Nana Rose, a woman who thinks appearance is the only currency that matters. I was a practice child. I went to state school, got good grades, but I didn't rush a fraternity and I didn't network with the right people. I dropped out of pre-law track because it made me want to walk into traffic, and I switched to trade certification. To my family, that was the day I died. I became the unfortunate son, the one who works with his hands. Meanwhile, Julian graduated summa cum laude, got headhunted, and became the golden boy. They don't see that I love my life. They only see that I don't fit their aesthetic. Fast forward to 3 weeks ago. The event Julian and Bianca's baby sprague. Not a baby shower. A baby sprague. It was co-ed, held at my parents' estate. A house they can barely afford to heat. I spent a week agonizing over a gift. I know Bianca turns her nose up at anything that isn't from a boutique with a French name, but I wanted to be practical. I found a high-end, hospital-grade air purifier. It was on sale for about $60, down from $200. I thought, great, babies need clean air. It's useful. I wrapped it in silver paper, put a nice card on it, and drove over. The driveway was full of BMWs, Audis, and Teslas. My truck stuck out like a sore thumb, so I parked down the street. Walking in, it felt less like a family gathering and more like a coronation. There were catered waiters passing around, hors d'oeuvres I couldn't pronounce. The gift table was a mountain of Tiffany blue and gold foil. I added my silver box to the pile and went to find a beer. Mom intercepted me near the kitchen. She gave me the up and down look, the one where she scanned your outfit for flaws. "Liam," she said, her voice tight, "you're wearing flannel." "It's a button-down, Mom." "It's nice," I said. "It's lumberjack chic," she sighed, dusting imaginary lint off my shoulder. Then she turned to her friend, Mrs. Halloway. "This is Liam. He keeps the air conditioning running at the Amazon warehouse. Very essential." She said essential like she was saying contagious. I swallowed my pride, grabbed a beer, and went to sit in the corner with some distant cousins who were equally uncomfortable. Then came the main event, the opening of the tributes. Julian and Bianca sat on a velvet love seat, while everyone gathered around. It was nauseating. "Oh, a cashmere onesie. Thank you. Oh, a stroller with built-in Bluetooth speakers. Amazing." Then Julian picked up my silver box. He read the card. His smirk was instant. He tore the paper off, revealing the box for the air purifier. He didn't just open it. He held it up like it was a piece of roadkill. "An air filter?" Julian announced to the room. his voice booming. "What do you think our house smells, Liam?" A ripple of laughter went through the room. "It's a purifier," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "It removes allergens. It's good for the nursery." "It looks like something you'd find in a factory break room," Bianca chimed in, wrinkling her nose. "Does it make that awful humming noise?" "I can't have white noise ruining the baby's sleep training." "It's actually rated for silence," I tried to explain. Julian laughed, a loud, barking sound. "Bro, look, I know things are tight for you. I know the blue-collar struggle is real. But seriously? A $60 fun? I spent more than that on my socks today." The room went dead silent. It wasn't a funny roast anymore. It was just mean. "It retails for $200, I muttered. "Retails." Julian scoffed. "Did you clip a coupon? Did you dig this out of the bargain bin at Walmart? God, it's embarrassing. Mom, maybe next time, spot him some cash so he doesn't show up looking like a charity case." He tossed the box, tossed it onto the floor. It landed with a heavy thud. "We'll donate it to a shelter," Bianca said loud enough for everyone to hear. "Someone needy can use it." My mother stood up. I thought, for 1 second, she would defend me. Instead, she walked over to the gift pile, picked up a gift bag from a wealthy uncle, and handed it to Julian. "Here, open a real one. Let's move on from the comedy portion of the evening." My dad, sitting in his recliner, chuckled. "At 32, you'd think he'd learn how to play the game," he said to his neighbor. Still disappointing. I stood there. My face was burning. I could feel the eyes of 40 people, family, friends, business partners, drilling into me. Some were snickering. Some were filming on their phones. I saw a flash go off. I didn't yell. I didn't flip the table. I walked over, picked up the air purifier, tucked it under my arm, and walked out. "Oh, don't be a baby, Liam." Julian shouted after me. "Take a joke." "Go back to your truck," someone shouted. I walked out the front door, down the long driveway, and into the rain. I got in my truck, tossed the purifier in the passenger seat, and just sat there. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just felt done. The battery in my soul that ran on hope for acceptance had finally drained to zero. Here is the part of the story my family conveniently forgot while they were mocking me. That blue-collar struggle Julian joked about, it pays well. Very well. And I live below my means. My parents, they are house poor. For years ago, Dad's business took a hit. They were going to lose a vacation cabin, a lakeside property that has been in the family for 2 generations. They needed to refinance to save it, but their debt-to-income ratio was trash. They needed a co-signer with impeccable credit and stable income. Julian was fresh out of grad school with student loans. I was the only option. I co-signed a mortgage on the lake house. And since they were struggling, I've been paying half the monthly note, about $600 a month, quietly to keep the peace. And Julian, the golden boy, 3 years ago, he wanted a Tesla Model S. He needed it to look the part for his new job. His credit was too thin because he'd maxed out his cards traveling. He begged me. He literally cried at my kitchen table. I co-signed the lease. And because he's forgetful, broke, I've been paying the insurance and about a third of the lease payments of the last year just to keep the repo man away, under the promise that he'd pay me back when his bonus hits. Oh, and the trust. My great-aunt Clara left a modest educational trust for us. I never touched mine. I was told by Mom, the executor, that the market was down and we should let it grow. I assumed it was sitting there, roughly $30,000, waiting for a rainy day. So, sitting in my truck, watching the rain hit the windshield, I made a decision. I pulled out my phone. I didn't text them. I opened my banking app. I canceled the recurring transfer for the lake house mortgage. I canceled the recurring transfer for the Tesla lease. I canceled the auto pay for the Tesla insurance. Then I called the bank's after-hours line. I initiated a dispute of liability protocol for credit cards. I was an authorized user on my mom's emergency card that I paid off monthly. I removed myself. Then I drove home, opened a beer, and waited. For 22 days, nothing happened. The billing cycles hadn't hit yet. I went to work. I installed a massive cooling unit on a hospital roof. I felt the wind on my face and felt freer than I had in years. I didn't call them. They didn't call me, except for a few group texts about Christmas plans that I ignored. Day 23 was a reckoning. I was in a meeting with a supplier when my phone buzzed. Then it buzzed again. Then it started vibrating continuously like it was having a seizure. By the time I walked out of the meeting, I had 47 notifications. Text from Dad, asterisk bank called. Payment didn't go through. Fix it ASAP, asterisk. Text from Julian, asterisk dude, Tesla saying payment missed. WTF, asterisk. Text from Mom, asterisk Liam, pick up the phone. This isn't funny, asterisk. Voicemail from Dad, asterisk Liam, you need to call me right now. The mortgage is late. There's a late fee. This is going to hit my credit. Where are you playing at? Asterisk. I didn't respond. I drove home, made a sandwich, and watched a documentary about deep-sea jellyfish. By 6 p.m., the tone had shifted from annoyed to frantic. Text from Julian, asterisk, they're threatening to report this to the credit bureau. I'm trying to close on a refi for the house renovation. You're screwing me, asterisk. Text from Mom, asterisk, we are family. You can't do this over a joke at a party. Grow up, asterisk. The next morning, I woke up to a new development. Bianca had messaged me. Asterisk Liam, this is childish. Julian is stressed. The baby can feel his stress. You are endangering my child with your pettiness. Pay the lease, asterisk. I went to work. Around noon, the receptionist paged me. Liam, your mother is on line 1. She says it's an emergency involving a death. My stomach dropped. I picked up. Who died? Nobody yet. Mom shrieked. But you're killing your father. His blood pressure is through the roof. Why did you stop the payments? I'm just a guy who works in a warehouse, Mom. I said calmly. I can't afford to subsidize people who make 6 figures. Julian said it himself. I'm a charity case. I need to save my money for better flannel. This is about the purifier? She gasped. Liam, don't be insane. That was banter. That's how boys talk. You are ruining our financial stability over a hurt ego. I'm removing myself as co-signer, Mom. I sent the paperwork to the lender this morning. You have 30 days to refinance the lake house before I force petition sale. I checked the deed. I own half of it. You wouldn't. Watch me. And tell Julian the Tesla is his problem. If he can't afford the lease, he should drive something practical. Maybe a bike. Good for the environment. I hung up. That evening, I found my mother waiting in the parking lot of my condo complex. She looked manic. Her hair was frizzy, which never happens. She tried to approach me as I got out of my truck, putting on her sympathetic mother face. Liam, she cooed, reaching for my arm. We need to talk. Somewhere private. We can talk here, I said, leaning against my truck door. It's about the money, she whispered. We can't refinance. Your father's credit is shot from the business loans. If you pull out, we lose the lake house. It's your inheritance. It's an asset you use to impress your friends. I corrected. And I'm paying for it. No more. And Julian, she pressed on, he can't lose that car. His image is everything in his industry. If he shows up in a Honda, he'll be laughed out of meetings. He laughed me out of his house. I said, seems fair. Then she played the ace card. If you do this, we are cutting you off. Completely. The trust fund? Forget it. I'll dissolve it. I looked at her. Something in her eyes shifted. A flicker of panic. Actually, I said, I have a meeting with Aunt Clara's estate attorney tomorrow. I'm requesting a full audit. Since I'm 32, that money should have been mine 7 years ago. Why haven't I seen it? She went pale. Ghost white. She turned around, got in her Mercedes, and sped off. The next day, I met with the attorney, a stiff man named Mr. Henderson. He pulled the records. The account was empty. Well, not empty. It had $400 in it. Where is it? I asked. It appears, Mr. Henderson said, adjusting his glasses, that the trustee, Your mother made several withdrawals over the last 5 years for educational and family maintenance expenses, which is a gray area in the trust language. He showed me the ledger. $12,000 withdrawal. Date matches Julian's wedding. $8,000 withdrawal. Date matches Julian's backpacking through Europe trip. $5,000 withdrawal. Date matches the down payment on Julian's house. She had drained my inheritance to fund Julian's life. Is this legal? I asked. It's questionable, Henderson said. It's certainly a breach of fiduciary duty. We can sue. We can file a complaint with the probate court. It will get ugly. File it, I said. The following week was a blur of chaos. I received a cease and desist letter from my own parents, bluffing. Then, the medical emergency happened. Dad checked himself into the ER with chest pains. Julian called me from the hospital. You happy now? Dad's hooked up to machines because you're a greedy little sociopath. Is he having a heart attack? I asked. It's a stress-induced angina. Julian screamed. He needs peace. You need to reinstate the payments and drop this audit immediately. Mom is a mess. She's saying she could go to jail. She stole $25,000 from me, Julian, to pay for your wedding. Did you know that? Did you know the champagne toast was on my tab? Silence on the line. Then, look, family money is one pot. It all comes out in the wash. No, I said, it doesn't. I'm not coming to the hospital. Tell Dad to focus on his breathing. 2 days later, the family summoned me. A summit. They demanded I come to the main house. I refused. I told them I would meet them at a neutral location. A small conference room I rented at the local library. They all showed up. Mom, Dad, looking frail and playing up, Julian, Bianca, and Nana Rose. They sat on one side of the table. I sat on the other. Bianca's father, a wealthy lawyer named Richard, was there too. He started the meeting. Liam, we are here to propose a settlement. You will resume the mortgage payments. You will drop the probate inquiry. In exchange, your parents will agree to keep you in the will for the main house, and Julian will apologize for the Stroller comment. I looked at them. They looked so confident. They really thought I was the same guy who sat in the corner at the party. Here's my counteroffer, I said, sliding a folder across the table. 1, I am selling my half of the lake house. If you can't buy me out within 60 days, it goes on the market. I've already spoken to a realtor. 2, the Tesla lease. I have reported the vehicle as unauthorized possession to the leasing company since I am the primary signer, and I am no longer in possession of it. They are sending a recovery team to Julian's office tomorrow. Julian slammed his fist on the table. You can't do that. I have a client meeting. Take an Uber, I said. 3, I continued, looking directly at my mother. You will repay the $25,000 you stole from the trust with interest. If you don't, Mr. Henderson files a criminal fraud charges on Monday morning. You would send your mother to prison? Nana Rose gasped, clutching her pearls. Over money? She stole from me, Nana, for years, while calling me a failure. We didn't call you a failure, Dad wheezed. We just wanted you to have ambition. I have ambition, I said. My ambition is to not be surrounded by people who use me. I have ambition to have a family that respects me. Since I don't have that, I'll settle for the cash. Bianca stood up. My parents offered to pay the mortgage for 6 months if you just stop this. No, I said, I don't want charity. I want justice. The meeting ended with screaming. Mom was sobbing. Julian was threatening to beat me up. He's never thrown a punch in his life. I walked out, got in my truck, and drove away. That was a week ago. Here's the current state of affairs. The Tesla was repossessed. It happened in the parking lot of Julian's firm. Apparently, it was quite the scene. He is currently driving a 10-year-old Civic he borrowed from Bianca's dad. The lake house is up for sale. They couldn't refinance. The market is hot, so it will sell fast. I'll get my equity out, about $40,000, and they will lose their status symbol. Mom is frantically liquidating assets to pay back the trust before the court date. She sold her jewelry. She's selling the boat. And the family? Fractured. The extended family knows now. The cousins who snickered at the baby's shower, they're texting me, apologizing, saying they had no idea I was the one keeping the ship afloat. It turns out everyone loves a rebel when the tyrant falls. Yesterday, I got an email from Julian. No subject line. Just text. Asterisk you win. I am sorry. Please call mom. Asterisk. I didn't reply. I'm sitting on my balcony now. I bought a new grill, a really nice one. I'm cooking a steak. The air is clean. It's quiet. People ask me if I feel guilty. They ask if I worry about ruining Bianca's baby's future or my dad's health. Here is the truth. Their stress is not my creation. It is a consequence of their own deception. They built a castle on a foundation of sand, and they treat the sand like dirt. Now that the sand has shifted, the castle is falling. I'm not the villain. I'm just a guy who finally realized he was worth more than a $50 air purifier. And the view from here? It's spectacular. I thought that was the end of it. I really did. I thought I could just walk away into the sunset with my steak and my silence. But when you pull a thread on a cheap sweater, the whole thing doesn't just unravel. It tangles around your ankles and tries to trip you. The fallout has mutated into something I didn't expect. 3 days after I posted this story initially, things went from legal battle to psychological warfare. It started with the flying monkeys. That's a term my therapist used. It's when the narcissist sends other people to do their bidding. I got a call from my Aunt Sarah, Mom's sister. She's usually the nice one. She called me weeping. Liam, your mother is selling her engagement ring. Do you have any idea how humiliating this is for her? She's a pillar of the church. She stole 25 grand, Sarah. I said, thou shalt not steal. Pretty sure that's in the big book. It's just money, she yelled. Family is forever. Family is the people who don't rob you. I countered and hung up. Then came the unexpected visitor. I was at a job site, a massive data center downtown, installing a specialized cooling vent. I was in my hard hat, covered in grease, holding a wrench. I looked down from the scissor lift, and who do I see standing next to my foreman? Bianca's father, Richard, the lawyer. I lowered the lift. Richard, you're violating safety protocols. You need a vest. He looked at me with this mix of disdain and fear. We need to settle this, Liam. Today. I told you my terms. Julian has been let go, he said. I froze. What? The repossession scene at his office? Partners saw it. They started digging into his financials. They don't like employees who are over-leveraged and unstable. He was considered a liability. They fired him this morning. I felt a pang of something in my chest. Guilt? No. It was pity. That sounds like a Julian problem, I said, wiping my hands on a rag. He has a pregnant wife. Richard snapped, his composure cracking. My daughter, they have a mortgage they can't afford. They have no car. You have destroyed his life. Richard, I stepped closer. Julian destroyed his life. He spent money he didn't have. He bullied the brother who was helping him. He built a glass house and threw stones at me. I just stopped catching them. I will write you a check right now, Richard said, pulling out a checkbook. $50,000. That covers the trust theft and your equity in the lake house. But you signed a non-disclosure agreement, and you publicly apologized to your parents for the misunderstanding. $50,000. It was a lot of money. It would clear the debt, give me a nice cushion. All I had to do was say, I'm sorry I got mad you robbed me. I looked at the checkbook. I looked at Richard's desperate eyes. He wasn't trying to save Julian. He was trying to save his daughter's reputation. He wanted to scrub the stain away. Make it 75, I said. He blinked. Excuse me? 75,000. And no apology. I signed the NDA saying we reach a settlement. But I admit no wrongdoing and I offer no apology. And I wanted a cashier's check within the hour. He stared at me. He hated me. But he nodded. Fine? I met him at his bank an hour later. I signed the papers. I took the check. I went straight to my bank and deposited it. Then I went to the dealership and traded in my 5-year-old truck for a brand new heavy-duty pickup. Cash. But here's a twist I didn't see coming. Yesterday, I got a knock on my door. It was rain pouring, classic Seattle weather. I opened the door, expecting another ambush. It was Julian. He looked wrecked. He was wearing sweatpants, actual sweatpants, and a stained t-shirt. He looked like he hadn't shaved in a week. He was soaking wet. "Can I come in?" he asked. His voice was broken. "No booming veriton." Just a whisper. I stepped aside. He walked in, dripping on my hardwood entry. He looked around my condo. "It's not a mansion, but it's warm, clean, and mine." "Nice place," he muttered. "What do you want, Julian?" He slumped onto my couch. Bianca left me. I stayed standing. "I am sorry." She went to her parents. Took the dog. Said she can't raise a baby with a loser. That's what she called me. A loser. He put his head in his hands. I lost the job. I lost the car. I lost the house. We're listing it tomorrow. And now her. He looked up at me, eyes red. "You were right. About everything." I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel the urge to say, "I told you so." I just felt heavy. "Why did you treat me like that?" I asked at the shower, "Why?" Julian laughed, a dry, bitter sound. "Because you were the only one who didn't buy the act, Liam. Mom and Dad, they believed the hype. Bianca, she loved the image. But you saw the spreadsheets. You paid the bills. You knew I was a fraud, and I hated you for knowing. So you mocked me to make yourself feel bigger." "Yeah, pretty much." He wiped his nose. "I'm broke, Liam. I have nothing. I'm moving back in with Mom and Dad tomorrow, into my old room. The circle of life. The golden child returns to the nest, tarnished and cracked. I'm not giving you money, Julian," I said softly. "I know. I didn't come for money." He stood up shaky. "I came to ask, are you hiring?" I stared at him. "What?" "The HVAC stuff. The warehouse work. Are you hiring?" "I need a job. Any job. Richard won't let me near his firm. My resume is radioactive in the city right now. I need to work." I looked at his soft hands. His expensive watch, that was probably the last thing he owned. "It's hard work," I said. "It's dirty. You crawl in crawl spaces. You carry heavy metal. You sweat." "I don't care," he said. I thought about it. I thought about the baby's shower. I thought about the stolen trust fund. I thought about the years of shipping versus logistics jokes. "Be at the shop at 6 a.m. Monday," I said. "You start as an apprentice. $18 an hour. You wear boots, not loafers. And if you complain once, just once, I fire you." He nodded. He actually looked relieved. "Thank you." He walked to the door. "Hey, Liam." "Yeah." "That air purifier? I actually fished it out of the trash after you left. It's in my trunk. I think I'm going to need it for the room at Mom's. It's dusty in there." "Keep it," I said. "Consider it a gift." He left. So here I am. I have a new truck. I have a padded savings account. My parents are terrified of me. My brother is my employee. I didn't burn the family down. I just let the fire they started burn itself out. And now, I'm in charge of the reconstruction. I am Liam. I'm 32, and I'm doing just fine.